Good evening, y'all. Happy Halloween. Y'all already know who it is. Target individual CJBK. I'm conditioning my hair right now. So if you're wondering why does he have this cap on his head, I'm like, nah, I'm conditioning my hair. Anyway, yeah, I haven't been as active as I probably would like to because my energy has just been getting like trampled, or not even trampled on, but like I've been just getting drained. Because besides the electronic harassment, the satellite triangulations and the use of scalar energy, and look, they just tried to send a frequency right here towards the back of my neck, and with the neighboring perp gang stalkers, and I gotta start like um I gotta start like writing down things I want to talk about and make bullet points and stuff like that. And then YouTuber KAPA, I don't know, Kapa, I don't know if that's supposed to be like the first and second initial of the first name and last and second initial, or first and second initial of the last name, something like that. But yeah, she or he said that I should um consider making timestamps. I don't even know how to do that now that I think about it. But I'll look into it. Anyway, yeah. So this video in particular is about learning how to manage yourself, your energy, and all those who are around you. Basically, learning to stop trying to control or stop putting so much energy into others, because at the end of the day, you have to actually you have to become a master of protecting your peace and managing yourself. That's one thing that I learned about what gang stalking does. Is what gang stalking pretty much does is um always remember that the root of it all is to basically lower your vibration to the point where you become so depleted and you feel so defeated, and you literally just feel like you can't necessarily um be bothered to do anything. And this is basically working in the realm where if there ever came a time for you to draw from your willpower, you won't be able to do that because they basically have used so much of the electronic harassment to manipulate and suppress your willpower. Then on top of that, um they're doing so much. They're doing so much now. I like to, like I tell people all the time, I try to keep in mind this thing right here. This is my truest indicator to know that someone is manipulating the electricity in the building. This is an ionic air purifier. Um, the building I'm in is basically, it's public housing, but also you already know that it doesn't matter where you are. They have people working in all facets of society. Everyone, even people who look like they're homeless or drug addicts, they very much could be a part of the whole thing too. Right now the light is on, but just a few seconds ago the light was off. Usually when the light goes off, that means they're basically manipulating the power in the apartment so then they can basically take the energy from that source and then use it as a weapon or directed energy attack against people that are inside of the apartment. Um Right now, the light is on. The only reason that light came on is because while I was making this video, while I was speaking to you just now, they saw the thought in my head where I said, "Oh, the light is off," and then they said, "Okay, leave the leave it alone. He's about to start recording it. But I mean, but you already know I've been recording. I've been recording this stuff anyway. So then on top of that, if you pay attention to the background noise, you can tell they're listening. Anyway, so yeah, and here's one example of why I tell you you got to learn to start managing yourself, especially when it comes to people that you are caring for or people around you, um, whether they're being targeted or not, or whether they know what targeting is, or whether they even fully understand or not of how the targeting works. Because like I tell people, my mom, she's like 74 years old, you know, and she doesn't know nothing about technology. I mean, nothing, nothing, nothing. You know, and whenever she tries to learn something, she forgets it. If she writes something down, she'll forget where she wrote it down. So then you take in consideration, they basically have like, they have their systems linked to our memory. So they can basically suppress, or not even suppress, they could basically block the neurons from transmitting the I guess you could call it the electrical data of information that we need, so that whenever we want to recall something, the the neurons will be able to fire, and um I forgot I forgot what is the things that pass between two neurons. I forgot what those are called. But when those transport between the two neurons, it's like basically the light, the light that they have beaming down on us, or the light that they have penetrating through the skin and through the skull to interact with specific parts of the brain. That light is actually causing a reaction to a point where it can actually stop or even block the that information from transferring from one neuron to the next neuron. um and I mean, think about it, like because like I told people before, it's similar. It's like the way this weapon works is very similar to photobiomodulation. um and you know what, the worst part is, it's like, and I'm gonna speak very plain right now, so excuse my language, but how the fuck like, how the fuck is it not bad enough already that we gotta deal with, see, like, okay, I live in New York City. Is it not bad enough already that we got walking, ticking time bombs everywhere we go in this city? Whether it's somebody that can spaz out because maybe you standing too close to them, or somebody who's probably walking around with a gun on them, and they'll shoot you just for looking at you wrong. How is it not enough? Like 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 who is giving these devices out though? And they're like, "Oh, we're a secret society." And I'm thinking to myself, how the fuck is it not bad enough already that some of these people have what they have, and they're doing what they're doing already? Still got missing kids out here, people still getting snatched up, women being beaten and raped in the street and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, so you were supposed to become a police officer." And I'm like, if I didn't have an inkling to want to become a police officer, then I'm not going to do a job, especially a respectable job. Because I mean, whenever you come across a good cop, you respect a good cop, But I'm like, I'm not going to just do some job just because somebody told me to do it. I'm not going to just do some job just because I'm being threatened to do it. Um, and they're basically trying to use it is social engineering by psychopaths, basically. It's like they call them they want to make themselves feel like they're advanced. They learned about technology, and the whole world is moving to everything being digital, which is probably going to be one of the worst things that mankind has worst and best things that mankind has done to itself, is because if everything goes digital, that means everything is hackable. Everything. And right now they already hacked human beings. So, and then I'm like, they hacked human beings, and yet there's no real defenses against it unless you're in a vacuum sealed room somewhere where there's no air, and you basically that's the only one of the truest ways that I heard someone actually being able to um get away from the electronic harassment is to actually enter into like some type of chamber that's vacuum sealed, where none of the frequency waves can penetrate to it. None of the chemicals, the nanobots can penetrate or get into the room. That's one of the only truest ways that I've seen. Other than that, probably an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse. If not an EMP, then a solar flare, like a X class solar flare. Those are probably the three things that I realized, that could probably completely, um other than actually, finding some way to shut the whole thing down. Yeah, those are the three ways that I know, that I'm pretty sure for certain, that can actually like stop all of this. Because I mean, or either that, or these countries go into wars with each other in space, and they just start blowing up each other's satellites. So there's that part. Um, but yeah, so mm, so but yeah, managing yourself and your emotions when you're going through this. So like I tell you, oh, see, look, because I was speaking so much. You see that, right? Exactly. So that's how you know when someone in the building. That's how you know someone in the building is actually using it, either someone in the building, or it could just be someone from some remote location that's basically um in messing with the electricity in the apartment. But I would believe is most likely someone in the building, because it's not just in my room. It's also like it's in the living room. It's you know like, for example, so um 3 months ago, and some of you may remember, 3 months ago my mother had to buy a whole new printer, because, well, what what the gang stalkers and the perps had done was they basically forced a power surge um through, I guess, the outlet where the printer's plugged up, and then it caused the printer to malfunction. The printer head wasn't working properly. So and it's interesting that hold on. Oh, like, I forgot my laptop in the bathroom, because I do my anti nanobot. I do my anti nanobot video for well, it's the video is only 20 minutes, but I do it for 40, so I play it twice. But let me show you what it looked like for the most part. Da, 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 da. Well, that's how it starts off. So, but yeah, I listened to this. Um, they say well, it has instructions at the bottom of the video too. But I listened to that. I should be doing it every day, but sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I just ain't really got the the, the energy to want to. Not even the energy to. Sometimes I just forget, you know. But I listened to that, and then um, here I'm gonna just fast forward. So this is pretty much it. Now, when I listen to this, I feel it in my mind. I feel the beat, and then that part, it almost feels like something is disengaging in my mind. Actually, right? So the video is about 20 minutes. You're supposed to listen to it for 40, preferably. Um, everything is usually preferably with headphones on, so you can basically cancel out other background noise. And remember, because there's frequencies everywhere, sound waves everywhere, whatever, they're basically penetrating. They're directing sound into your ears as well. Um, so I listen to that, and I feel like something disengaging in my mind, right? Um, so that usually, what else did I do? Oh, and then I also realized when I listen to that and I do the radiation detox salt bath, the one with the, um baking soda and sea salt, and well, I put peroxide. I put like a half cup of peroxide in the is it a half cup or a cup? I think I put a cup of hydrogen peroxide in the tub as well. But it's about like it's anything close to a pound of baking soda and sea salt, um, half a cup. Well, no, blah. Anything close to a pound of each baking soda and sea salt. Let that dissolve in the water. Then I put like a cup of hydrogen peroxide in the water. The hydrogen peroxide basically helps. Um, it cleanses the skin. It basically tries to like you know it I guess you could say it works as like a disinfectant for anything that's on the surface of your skin, stuff like that. The sea salt bath actually draws out radiation and toxins, and it also revitalizes your energy. So like when I tell you, like when I take that bath, and like my grip is even like my grip is even stronger after that bath. But anyway, going back to the printer. So we had got a new printer, and sorry, I was listening to them. Anyway, we had got a new printer, and then eventually they started messing with that one. um it's like I don't know exactly what it looks like from the handler's viewpoint, but I'm sure what it probably is like if they have something, um because I know satellites can actually see through walls now. Satellites are more than capable of seeing through walls. If it's not satellite based, then it's probably something along the lines of like how how what else? If it's not the satellites that's allowing them to see through walls and everything, then I'm thinking that's the part I haven't really truly figured out. Because I'm like, if it is satellite based viewing along with the remote neural monitoring, because if they have your visual cortex hacked, they can basically see through your eyes. So that's that part. But But I also know satellites can also see the electromagnetic field of electronic devices. They can see the electromagnetic field coming off of devices, or the EMF radiation coming off of electronic devices. So there's a number of different ways. I'm not exactly sure. I literally have to just go deep diving into military documents, really, because that's the only way you're really truly going to understand this. If you're like, to really look into it, you gotta know about Nikolai Tesla's work. Then you gotta know what the Soviet Union had did with his work, and then you gotta know what the U.S. military, along with other countries, have been doing to advance scalar weaponization. And then on top of all things, now you gotta, if you want to dig a little deeper and get a little, it gets darker. If you want to, if you really want to know, you gotta learn things about secret societies and their agendas about depopulation, and who they deem as, you know um 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 I guess, for lack of better words, profitable human beings. You know, basically people who they would deem as, those who are worthy of living in the world that they're trying to create. The transhumanists, they believe they're everything because they're raising their intelligence beyond, means, and they're advancing their health, using all this synthetic stuff. But you know what, the best part about it is organic always trumps synthetic. And usually every time when synthetic thinks it's going to override organic, well, organic usually tends to organic usually tends to just go ahead and show why synthetic could never be organic. Anyway, back to the printer. So basically, what they do is, just like how you see with the air purifier, they basically can either draw energy from the device to make it not work properly, or they can basically boost more energy to the device, causing it to short circuit, or basically blowing out certain compartments of the electronic device. Um, you know, yeah, so now she basically took, and she's still, and I try to explain to her. I try to explain to her about this stuff, but I know sometimes it's just not even worth it because she's not going to get it, and she's very old school. She's very um religious and spiritual, more religious than spiritual though. Well, I don't know. She might be like a balance of both. Um, Me, I'm more spiritual than I am religious. Um, but yeah. So she's like trying to do everything, and like get an HP, to like give her a new printer. She's like, "Oh, your printers are garbage now," and da da da. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, it's not the printer. They destroyed the printer, but it's not the printer itself. And it's hard, so it's like, that's something I can't control. I can't control her and understanding what's happening, because I try to tell people, the moment you, like, the one thing you have to understand when it comes to targeting, and this is one thing that I learned to just go ahead and acknowledge, is that if it runs on electricity, consider that thing no longer something you need to worry about. If it runs on electricity, forget about it. Because the moment it starts like going haywire or anything, I automatically trump it up to, and until proven otherwise, I automatically trump it up to being electronic harassment, no matter what. If it's plugged into an outlet, if it's running on battery, Like when I tell you that, when I tell you, here's my remote. When I tell you that even your remote control to your TV is used as a weapon against you. Where did I put my remote? Um, Dang, I don't even know what I did with my remote control. But yeah, when I tell you, even your remote control for your TV is even used as a weapon against you, because why? The remote has batteries in it. When the batteries are activated and you put them into the remote, it gives off, an electromagnetic field of radiation. Um, or I think it's probably electric radiation. And once that field it starts to emit, or it starts to emit from the device, now there's all these charged particles around that device. They can literally take the charged particles from that device, concentrate it into a beam, and focus it right into your body. you know um if it's something plugged into the wall, they basically gonna use that too. They gonna, all they gotta do is draw the charged particles from that device that's plugged into the wall, and concentrate it into a beam and direct it right to you. And now they're heterodyning because they don't like what I'm saying. So, and that's something else. Is, remember, like I said, even though you can't see it, there are frequencies everywhere. And on top of that, there's infrasound. I mean, you see how I record my infrasound. Um, you see how I record the infrasound of basically everything that's going on in my apartment. When I pull out the Decibel X, when I pull out the Decibel X app, and I start to, record all the different sounds. But the one thing, I'm not even necessarily paying too much close attention to what I hear anymore. I'm paying attention to the frequencies and the fluctuations, and the number of the frequency, the decibel, maximum and minimum of that specific frequency. And then what I need to do, and I haven't started doing it yet, is to actually research what these frequencies are related to. Um, like I mentioned before, 40 hertz. 40 hertz is pertaining to the memory. So when you think about it, why is it that, like, when I do my recordings and I see the 40 hertz bar is just constantly, bopping up and down, bopping up and down. That means somewhere there is something, basically giving off a sound, operating under the 40 hertz, spectrum. And and whatever the decibel number is, or whatever, that's the thing that's basically affecting my memory, most likely. And then I seen 31.5. I looked that one up and I can't remember what that one was. But yeah, all those different frequencies that was on that graph, I'm gonna start, doing some research on each one of them, because at some point the bucket has got to completely, like, spill out from the bottom. There's already holes in the bucket. But that the principalities and the wickedness in high places, they're just constantly filling the bucket with water. Even though it has holes in it already, they're just constantly filling it with water. And it's because no one is willing to stop the people who's pouring the water into the bucket. The bucket is just going to continuously fill up. Even though it has holes in it, the bucket is just going to continue to fill up with water, because no one's stopping the one who's pouring. You know, yeah. So it's up to people like me, or people who have an expertise in electronics or engineering or technology or laws or human rights. It's up to all of us to actually be the ones to be able to stop the one who's pouring the water. The moment we can expose the one who's pouring the water, we could probably cut we could probably cut the source off completely. If not that, we need more people who's willing to be hard enough to poke more holes into the bucket so that the bucket can no longer fill. The more holes we could poke in this system, the more holes we poke in this system, the less water will be able to fill into the bucket. But so yeah, she busy out here running around trying to get refunds and chasing after, you know, chasing after this stuff that like I've learned to let go of this stuff already. You know, because these electronics, I mean, hey, the only reason I have most of these electronics is, well, the only reason I have a smartphone is because of my job. If I didn't have a job that required a smartphone, I wouldn't have a smartphone. To be honest, like I would go right back to my flip phone like I did in the past, and I'm talking like within the last 10 years, there was at least 2 years where I was just using a flip phone, and I was perfectly fine with my flip phone. Um, um, Dang, and then my mother, she took a little short vacation to go to a friend's wedding down south, and somebody had got her a damn smartphone, and that shit really pissed me off actually, because I was just like, for one, that's already something else that it's basically like putting a weapon in. It's basically kind of almost like it's almost like, damn, somebody just basically put a weapon in her pocket. It's like someone put a weapon in her pocket, and then she's like, well, I gotta learn how to use this stuff, and I'm like, but I don't want you to, because you don't know what I know. And I can't, and it's hard to try to explain to her the things that I know. But you know what, like she said, don't even really stress it, just give it to God, because none of us know when our time is going to come. And I was just reminded in the book of Romans, um I think it's chapter 6. I don't remember. But in the book of Romans, it basically, there's one part in there where it talks about how even the good, even the good and the righteous are basically taken from the world. Why? Because because if the righteous is taken out of the world, that is because they are to be spared of the evils of the world, or they are to be spared from experiencing the things that's about to happen to the rest of humanity. So to be honest, that kind of really made me look at when we hear about, oh, good people always die. Why are all the good people dying? Da da da. And when you think about it, it's because God is sparing them. God is literally sparing them from having to go through what we're going through now. So like all TIs, like when I think about it, all TIs who's basically being targeted to the point where they actually die, they're being spared. Like they know, like they've done everything they could to maintain their peace in this world. They've done everything they could to basically not, be swallowed up by their enemy. So if God allowed them to actually leave this world, then that is because God is sparing them from the torment that they're going through. And you know what? I pray for all TIs who are, who have passed, whether they were put into a destitute situation and then they died, or whether they were you know rich, famous, but awakened and then they got killed. um Michael and Prince, man. Yo, y'all ever listen to like you ever really really listen to Black or White, or really listen to They Don't Really Care About Us? Michael was putting it in his music, hard body. Like Michael, and it's like no wonder they was coming after Michael so hard. Michael was really putting it in his music, hard body. And I remember Prince, and I just recently seen this video too, where Prince, it was I don't know what year it was, but Prince was on stage and he was doing, he did this little, it was like a little speech or something. And in the speech he said something along the lines, he was like, computers are cool. Yeah, they're useful, they're cool, but don't let them put the computers in you. Use the computers, but don't put the computer in you. Or don't let the computers use you. Something like that. And I was just like, Prince knows. So it's just like I'm just like, yo, this is amazing that I was awake. I was a awakened to this, and I thank God. I thank God because like I can't imagine being somebody who's sleep to all of this. I can't imagine the what I can't imagine what that feels like to just be just walking around not knowing what I know now. Because it's like when you think about it, it's like, yo, they really killing people out here and making it seem like it was an accident, or like making it seem like they died of natural causes. But no, they're like, this is like the I mean, the way what happened with the Holocaust, that was horrific. But what they doing right now, this is like Auschwitz Volume 3. This is like, this is basically like an intelligent version of genocide. This is like an intelligent genocide or something like that. This is basically a genocide against, you know, against specific people. It's a very very, it don't got nothing to do with race. It don't got nothing to do with religion. It's about morals and conduct. It's about morals and conduct. And everybody who seems to be defending this system, it just seemed like all of them. I can't. I'm gonna say this: the ones who are defending the system are the worst ones. The ones who are going along with the systems, I feel sorry for them. The ones who are just going along with the system, I feel sorry for them because they don't realize God is still even judging them for not even trying to at least fend off the evils of the world. It's like they gave in to the fear. They gave their free will away. They're not even trying to fight. They just going along with it, and I feel sorry for them. I really do. I feel sorry for them. And I'm so glad that there's so many spiritual scriptures in this world. No matter what the religion is, all of them, most of them, at least the ones that practice love, like genuine love, unconditional love, and honesty, they all tell you, do not fear death at all. Don't fear death. Death is actually like an extension to your life. Why? Because we have a spiritual body. People focus so much on what they can feel, touch, smell, all the basic stuff about, our flesh senses. People spend so much time on that, but they not, we're so far removed from spirituality now, especially when you think about the technological age and how science had advanced itself so much. people basically like kind of just like straight up like said fuck it, I don't have a soul, I need money. So it's like we're dealing with people who don't even realize that they're actually dead already. They're actually dead already. Like, the fact that they're doing what they're doing and they don't have no remorse. They're happy doing what they're doing. Because you don't need to do what they're doing just so that you can get a decent apartment, so you can get a car, so you can make some money. You don't need to do what they're doing just so you can get all these things that basically can be taken away from you, or wouldn't even matter. Is none of the stuff that they're obtaining is feeding their soul at the end of the day. That's they're basically going to remain depleted to the day that they die, and then when they die, they're going to realize it's going to get hot. It's going to get hot for them. And then there won't be no way to defend themselves either, because once you die and them demons, they drag your ass to hell, you ain't gonna be able to fight back. You ain't gonna have no direct energy weapons or no guns or no knives. They gonna be slicing your ass up, chewing on you, eating you up. Then the beast is just gonna consume your whole energy. So and it's like, look at what they're doing in Switzerland with CERN and everything. They literally have a device that's basically trying to open portals so that more of these demons and spirits can basically come into Earth and try to take possession of as many people as they can. And they don't realize that's who they're helping. They don't realize they're actually helping the ones who are like legit Luciferians, like legit, worshipers of the Antichrist. They're like literally legit helping the very same people who's been trying to destroy God's creations for centuries. But it's all right. They're secret society, so they're aware of what they're doing. So it is what it is. But yeah, so I mean, they could get mad all they want. They could call me pussy if they want to. They could call me a snitch if they want to. They could call me whatever they want. At the end of the day, God always has the final say. And if God wants me to leave this earth, then hey, I welcome it. And in the Bible it says that the righteous can and may be imprisoned because of those who are working in secrecy and darkness. Those, because they you gotta remember, whenever there's good, there's always bad. And it doesn't matter, anytime good try to enforce moral conduct and moral standards, bad is always trying to do the opposite. So anytime good try to confront the bad is going to push back. You can't you can't ignore that. You can't ignore the fact that bad people are going to push back. They're going to push back. So no matter how much effort that we put into it, we have to expect them to push back. Because why? They want to be able to continue doing what they're doing. So that's why you can't necessarily get too mad if you're not getting help from the police, or you're not getting help from, the medical industry, or you're not getting the help you need from, whoever. You got to remember, evil is always going to push back. That is why it's on us to basically master our energy, master our communication, master our willful intentions, master our communication with God the Creator. Master our connection with the holy angels. Call on Michael. Call on you know um Raphael, or yeah, I don't know all the holy angels names, but we got to master these things because we're not alone. Because remember, we're only in one dimension. We're operating in one dimension. So in other dimensions, we're probably totally different people, probably living much stronger and thoughtful lives, but we have to actively want and will and do good, you know. But anyway, yeah. So I try to let it go. I know I can't convince my mother of anything that, you know, she's already got her mind to. Um, and the right now they got frequencies on my left knee. They've been attacking my left knee like crazy. It literally feels like my left knee, like the cartilage in my left knee is melting. And I'm not no old, or I never even had knee problems, honestly. Until all this gang stalking shit started, I never had knee problems. And all of a sudden, every time I'm laying down or I'm sitting somewhere, or whatever, there's always this. It's like, let me see. It's basically like when you think about how they're attacking, right? It's like, okay, so all across the joint right here. Let me see. Yeah. So all across the joint right here. It's like, imagine if there were a bunch of heat lamps or lasers, like basically um all pointed at my knee, right? And then it's like straight, it's basically straight line. It's like straight line, kind of like on it's well it's I don't know really how else to explain it, but it's basically because I can literally feel the energy coming downward into my palm. And when I move my hand back and forth, it's like it's like feeling little nano needles, or like if you were to take like BBs that were like the size of a nanometer or something. And then they were all just like basically penetrating through my hand just to get to my knee. That's basically what it feels like. And it's not only just the left knee, it's also along my whole lumbar area of the spine. Same thing. I could place my hand back here, and when I try to focus on basically releasing energy from my hand, um, I'm telling y'all need to learn about qigong. Um, but when I release the energy from my hand, it's also pulling the energy, because right now I have my hand, like the back of my hand, against my back. So when I focus on expelling, I think expelling energy from my hand, it's not only just leaving my hand, but it's also sucking the energy that they're aiming towards my lumbar area of the spine. It's sucking their energy that's focused on my spine away from the spine, and it's going outward. So like almost as if like my hand is creating a vacuum, and it's sucking the energy that they're basically aiming at my spine, and is putting it away from the body. Now the funny thing is I also learned that when I expel that energy from my hand, right, I could put my hand out here, and I could literally feel all the energy. I could literally feel all the energy sitting in midair. and it's like it's crazy, because it's like right here it feels warm, but if I take my hand back, flick it off a little bit, and go like right here, it's cool. you know so it's like None of this is that hard to figure out. It's just finding the information, So yeah, it's not that hard. It's just finding the information. But yeah, so um yeah, I'm just trying my best, y'all. I'm trying my best. Yeah, you gotta always remember, just best thing you could do is just accommodate those who don't fully understand, or those who are being targeted, but they don't want to fully accept what's happening, or they don't want to take your advice. Learn to let go of the idea of controlling, or the idea of wanting someone to just do what you tell them, or to take in the information that you tell them. Learn to let that go, because at the end of the day, you are responsible for maintaining your um vibrational energy. You are responsible for maintaining your emotional energy, as they like to call it. He got emotional energy. He that's a spiritual ass nigga. That's what they say. Whenever they're not getting certain desired responses from me, after while they target me and everything like that, they'll say he got emotional energy. He what's my call? Yeah, I don't know, but anyway, what is it? 1014. Golly, you know, it never seems to get easy at all when it comes to like having to get up at 2 in the morning. And like I don't even know if this is really what's happening. Maybe there's a lot just going on, you know, as far as like the trains and stuff. But I could swear for several months I've always been able to, leave the house at the same time, catch the bus at the same time, then get to the train station, get one train, catch that same train, take that train, transfer at one station, and then the next train that I need usually pulls in about a minute or two once my first train pull into the station. All of a sudden, after like all this time, now about like a month or two ago, now nothing seems to line up anymore. So I mean, I don't know if I could attribute that to GameStop or whatnot. I just know the V2K, they be like, he don't know nothing about secret society. So, and I mean, I'm like, that's I'm like, damn, I must be one powerful ass motherfucker. Because if they are willing to go to that much of that many lengths, if they're willing to go that deep into this whole thing just to try to disrupt my life, golly, I must be powerful. It must be something about me that ooh, like, cause and I think to myself, I'm like, I grew up in this neighborhood where like, or I grew up in neighborhoods where like, people die for less. People die for much less. You know, and to be honest, I'm still surprised I'm still alive actually. You know, but their whole thing is like, oh, we're a secret society, da, da, da. So I'm assuming they don't kill like they that like they basically use their other controlled people to do. Because I feel like most of these shootings and killings out here are basically driven and created by the secret society. They basically affect people's emotions, they affect people's minds and memories. And then, I feel like somebody who will most likely, even if they are walking with a gun, someone who will most likely probably not, you know, get so irate at first. I think they basically have been tweaking certain people so that, it's just instant for them. And then by the time they realize what they did, it's like, damn, they didn't realize they just killed somebody. That's because that's how effective the technology is. If your vibrations is low enough and you don't know anything about the technology, or you can't or your spiritual body cannot sense when something is messing with you, you know, It's one of the reasons why they tell you to protect your ears and eye gates, protect what you bring into your body. This is why I try not to listen to, like, I like listening to rap music. I like listening to I like listening to some I ain't gonna lie. I like to listen to some music that sound like gunplay and stuff like that. But I try not to do it too much because after a while, that shit works on you though. It definitely plays on your mind. So like I always try to listen to a little a mix of different things. And I try not to find myself watching too many violent things or whatever because like I said, it works on you. Um whether you realize it or not, but your subconscious is taking this stuff in. You know, this motherfucker. But anyway, yeah. So, yeah. On that note, yeah. I'm about to go ahead and finish eating, and I gotta wash this out my hair. Um, Life's a trip, y'all. Life's a trip. But you know what? Luckily, we got scriptures that have been around for centuries that have been telling us that life is going to be a trip. We're just basically living out our roles. We're just basically living out our roles. Anyway, take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time. Peace.